I know that's what you're all here to see. Me talking about this preseason game. The preseason game against the Indianapolis Colts, the third preseason game. Usually the Eagles don't play any of their starters during the third preseason game. I don't think you really saw any starters playing in this game. Maybe you would have seen some bubble starters playing, but otherwise you're not going to see any starters for the Eagles playing in this game. And it's mostly because they don't want to get injured. Now that we have 3 preseason games, a lot of teams use this one as a dress rehearsal where they play all of their starters. That's just not something that the Philadelphia Eagles do. That's just not something that the Philadelphia Eagles have really ever done. I really can't remember a time where the Eagles were playing starters in the final preseason game. It used to be a kind of like a tradition that the last preseason game was just to see who was going to make your roster, like which bubble players were going to make your roster. And I think overall, the Philadelphia Eagles, third stringers and fourth stringers, they actually played pretty well. Like I try to watch as much of the preseason games as I can because I want to see how the guys do. I want to see how the guys do in certain situations. And from what I saw, the Philadelphia Eagles' third and fourth stringers were holding their own against the Indianapolis Colts' starters. All of their starters were out on the field. I mean, besides Jonathan Taylor. I don't really know what's going to happen to him. If he's not a Dolphin by Tuesday, I don't know what's going to happen to him. But the fact of the matter was it was just exciting to see them do well. It was exciting to see guys who probably weren't even going to make the team go out there and play very well against the starters of a football team. And Anthony Richardson, I think the guy's just raw. I think he's a raw talent. I don't know how he's going to shape up. The selection of him with the number 3 pick was perplexing to me because of how he played in college. He was not very accurate in college. His speed was always good. His power was always good. I just think that the Colts really think that they're going to find a Josh Allen in him. And if that's what they think they're going to find, I mean, when he went out and played in that game, I saw a lot of really good things that I can go and write home about, him being a rookie, but I also saw some horrendous and dreadful things, like multiple should-have-been interceptions, one play where he was throwing the ball and it slipped out of his hand, and I don't even think it was a rainy day. The ball just slipped out of his hand. So, really, a lot of those drives where the Colts scored touchdowns, those were on drives where it was like ticky-tacky penalties by the officials. But when it came down to the Colts defenders and the Eagles offenders, they were just hugging them down the field, just bear hugging them the whole time. So I don't know why a flag was called on the Eagles for something ticky-tacky, but for much worse, it wasn't called on the Colts. And that really did lead to those points. Not that it really matters because the preseason does not matter. In any way, shape, or form, the preseason does not matter. You can take all the scores you want and throw it out. You go 4, again, I've said this a few times. You can go 4-0 in the preseason and have 0 wins during the regular season. And you could also lose all your games during the preseason and not win any games either. I'm sure that that's possible. So I really think that watching this game, man, Tanner McKee, the guy has played really well. As a third-string quarterback, the guy's played really well. Really the only thing that has been hampering this dude is the fact that receivers are just dropping passes. There was a pass he threw right to Kennedy Brooks. Not really right in the breadbasket, but something he should have caught. He had a free shot right for a touchdown, but he dropped it because he wasn't looking at the ball. This has been happening all preseason. If the Eagles have to rely on 5th, 6th string receivers, it's not going to be a good day for them. But luckily, at this point, they won't have to do that unless something bad happens. God forbid. The defense, I felt like, held up on the first drive for the Colts, stopped them cold. Anthony Richardson, he didn't even complete 50% of his passes. Most of his incompletions were bad incompletions. The two top Eagles cornerbacks in that game locked down the Colts' two top wide receivers, and those are their two starting receivers. Really, it wasn't until Gardner Minshew came in and went on that long drive where the Colts really started doing something and the Colts really started embarrassing the Eagles. But I really think it's because the Eagles had been playing those players for a whole half, and now that the Colts backups had been in, the Colts backups had been playing, hadn't been playing anything, so they were able to get something done against the Eagles, who were already tired, who were already kind of fatigued. The one player that I have to criticize in this game, who had been shown a lot in previous preseason games, but really hadn't shown anything in this one, I think it's like Sidney Brown, the safety from Illinois. He really didn't do anything in this game. In fact, I feel like his speed and his quickness really got the best of him. I still truly believe that safety is going to be our weakest part of the team right now. I think it's even weaker than linebacker, because with linebacker, you at least have guys who are serviceable. At safety, it's just a bunch of question marks. Really, unless Reed Blankenship is really this Ed Reed Blankenship, or someone made a nickname for him that I can't really remember what his nickname was. Someone said that Sidney Brown and Reed Blankenship is like milk and cereal, as in like serial killer or something like that. I have no idea, but that's a big question mark, and it's something that we really haven't done anything to kind of combat. We really haven't tried to draft a guy early to try to fill that need at safety. We haven't tried to do it. I don't think we've drafted a high-round safety since Jaquan Jarrett back in 2011. So I think it might be frustrating this season if we're not able to get really good coverage on the back end, because our safeties are either not good or they've got a lot that they need to figure out. Jake Elliott did well in this game, booted 2 super long field goals. Eagles fans were going out and being like, "Oh yeah, he's the best kicker in the NFL." No, he's not. He's not Tucker. He's not Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker is the best kicker in the NFL. But Jake Elliott, he's been playing well, and I hope he continues to play well. Hope he doesn't continue to play the way he did in 2019 and 2020 when he was really bad. But now he's been good. He's been good to relatively good. And I'm really happy to see his progression and how he's able to play. A lot of Eagles fans are worried about the punter, Aaron Sipos. They're like, we need to go and get the punt god, and we need to go out and get somebody else. We'll see. We'll see about that. I'm not a Aaron Sipos truther, but I have heard that he does help out Jake Elliott on kicks. Jake Elliott likes his holds, so that's a good thing right there. But otherwise, when it comes to the starters, I really don't have anything to say about the team, right? Because I really don't know what to say. I really don't know what I'm going to say. I guess a really funny moment was when Nick Sirianni threw the challenge flag and then just kind of like pointed down at the challenge flag. I think that was kind of funny. But otherwise, it wasn't really anything to write home with. It was just a game where you're just evaluating your talent.